Yesterday, Mike McCarthy did say this about all the injuries that affected his team in his going away press conference. Let's roll it.
If I was going to be critical of one of the things on offense that we didn't do a good enough job of, we didn't handle the injuries, not little on Jordy, the left tackle. You have to help people at times in each and every season. It's part of your game planning. It's part of your strategic makeup when you get into game planning. And when we had uphill matchups, we didn't do a good enough job helping that individual.
And Jordy Nelson joins us now, part of the Dove Men Plus Care campaign. And Jordy, what was it like for you standing on the sidelines, knowing that you could have been in there helping your teammates and you were plagued by this injury?
It was tough, but it's something that you kind of get used to. I think I've said before, what made it easier was that it was an ACL, and I knew it was season ending and had to have surgery. There wasn't any debating on should we do it, should we not do it, should we try to come back here in a couple months and then get surgery in the off season type thing. So it was pretty, basic, set in stone that you're going to have surgery and you'll be back next year. So I think that did help. But to be honest with you, the first couple of games, especially the first couple of home games, were the toughest. And then after that, you kind of got used to it. But then when the playoffs hit and watching the guys down at Arizona was tough again because you wanted to be out there and help them, but couldn't do anything about it.
Jordy, Marshall Falk here. When let's say the injury happened and they told you, hey, we're going to IR, you have to get surgery. Did you think we might, if we make it to the playoffs or if we're in the Super Bowl, maybe I can get back? Did that thought even enter your mind, or were you just like, I'm done for the year?
It was something that was discussed, but I think discussed very shortly. It's one of those things that there is that chance. So we would have been able to do the IR to return, but then that would have taken that off right off the board for anyone else. I would have had to take a roster spot at the very beginning of the season, and that's just for an opportunity for what possibly could have happened. So, and you don't ever know how you'll react with surgery. And we've reacted extremely well. I think there would have been a chance if I really wanted to, and we would have rehabbed to be back for the playoffs. I could have done it. But then if you add that stress on your body mentally and physically of trying to come back sooner, what does that happen? What does that cause your body to do? If it slows down the rehab process, does it make you do something that you're not ready to do? Then you're having to fix something in the off season again. So I think it was just pretty safe just to take this one off and bite the bullet and come back for 2016.
And you have to feel fully confident that you can make those cuts because I know I've had my ACL reconstructed. Have you ever done that, Marshall?
I've had everything reconstructed in my knee but my ACL.
Yeah. Well, I know that feeling, Jordy, because you feel unstable, and even I was rehabbing with the Lakers when I did mine, and I know. How's your range of motion, by the way? Do you have it all back? And where are you in this rehab right now?
Yeah, so the rehab's been great. I got back right away. I had my range of motion back within 10 days. The only thing that's been holding me back is my doctor, to be honest with you. He's very cautious, very conservative with everything, which as a player, it bugs you, but also you appreciate greatly because you know he truly cares about you and your body and what's best for you and not necessarily what, maybe the organization wants you to take this big risk and try to come back early. So that's great. So, no, we're doing great. Everything's smooth, and it's been a great process.
What did you see in Aaron Rodgers out there? A lot of people were talking about he looked uncomfortable. He wasn't smiling like he was the week before. Maybe there were a couple easier reads that he could have made, but he was going for some deep balls and looking for some big plays. What did you see in your quarterback? I saw, his normal self, to be honest with you. He's out there competing. He's making plays. Obviously, the circumstances were different when you take away Randall. That's something that we weren't expecting, obviously, right away in that game was to lose him early on. It's an adjustment to make, and he's out there with guys he's not as comfortable with as you are, someone he's played 5 seasons with now and very comfortable with. So everyone, people have asked all year, like, where's the excitement, the smiles, and everything on the sideline? Well, that's only going to come if you're playing well. You're not going to be not playing as good as you want and then be smiling and joking around on the sideline. So it all kind of comes hand in hand, but I think they did a great job. They competed extremely well. I think Jared and Jeff stepped up huge in the game and made some plays to give us that opportunity.
Jordy, we both know experience when playing is the best thing for a player. But you watched all season, and I hear guys always talk about, man, watching, I found out things about the game or about the position that I probably would have found out if I would have played. How was this year for you? Tell me something that you learned watching that you may not have learned if you were playing.
Oh man, that's tough. Man, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I don't know if I have an answer for you right now. Hopefully it's something that will come up when I get back to playing and understand it a little bit more. But I think the opportunity to understand a little bit more of what Aaron's thinking, because I communicated him a lot. That way I could communicate to the receivers. But I feel like through 7-8 years of being with him, I've done that pretty well already and kind of know a lot of what he's thinking. But honestly, it's just what you probably learn is how much you enjoy practice. Everyone hates practice until you have to miss it, and then you really want to practice.
It's funny. I think that is it true that you did some teaching in this season? That you did a little bit of substitute teaching? Because I'm wondering. I'm actually wondering what you can take from that and bring that back to playing football.
Yeah, so in the off season, it's part of what we're doing with Dove Men Plus Care is showing a true highlight reel of real strength. And so what we did, we put some segments together, and one of them is a couple off seasons ago, I did some substitute teaching at my son's school. One of the teachers had to go get some cancer treatments, so they needed a sub to step in, and so I taught third grade math for a couple months, and you learn a lot. It's similar to football. You got a lot of things going on. You got to control 7 third graders, which is a handful, but you're dealing with that and trying to get obviously the homework done and get the lesson done, and you have the pressure of making sure that you're doing what you need to do to help these kids learn what they need to learn, and I think that all incorporates over into football and dealing and multitasking and everything like that.
You can make that work into your catch committee position, I would imagine.
Yes, that is talk about trying to get everyone on the same page right there. It's big.
I would imagine if you have room to appoint somebody that one Rich Eisen is looking for a spot on that catch committee, by the way.
Wow.
Jordy Nelson.
Oh, Rich got a lot of opinions on catch, no catch, huh?
Oh, he really does, with all of his experience playing in the street in
Jordy,
Staten Island. I think you should really go to him on that.
You have no idea. Oh my God, we sit around and watch games, and when the catch, no catch plays happen, Rich loses his mind. It did that whole thing. The theory of when you see a catch, you know what a catch is. And that, I mean, you know when you see somebody catch the football. But to the rule, there's all these other things that factors into whether it is a catch or not. And it drives Rich crazy.
Insane.
Oh, my God.
What was discussed in that room with all those Hall of Famers, Jordy?
A lot of basic stuff, to be honest with you, and a little bit goes with what you guys were saying there. Is like when you see a catch, you see a catch. And we watched a lot of film, and they pretty much just asked right away, when you watch the film, tell us right away, catch, no catch. And all but maybe 2 plays, everyone answered it the same way and right away. Then there's a couple of them that were the bang, bang, like hit while you catch it. And then, some guys were a little hesitant and slower of saying, what it was or whatnot. And those were the plays that ended up going to review and everything. But there's a couple things said about, a lot of it's keeping it basic. Some of them, I think it was Tim Brown that was in there, was saying that the fundamentals of the game have gone away, and that's what's causing a lot of the issues of guys not tucking the ball away after they catch it, and therefore when you get tackled, it hits the ground and moves, and now we have this issue of did he catch it or did he not, and if you just would have caught it and put it away and like you were taught in high school and college, then it wouldn't have been a problem. So it's kind of getting back to the basics of it all, and just if everyone played the correct way, it wouldn't be as big of an issue.
Hey, Jordy, tell me what you think about this. I just feel as if some of the other rules are making the simple things in the game tough. The fact that the ground can't cause a fumble is making catch, no catch an issue. Because if you catch the ball and you hit the ground, if the ground can cause a fumble, if you are supposed to be responsible for holding on to the ball, then we wouldn't have catch, no catch. It would just be a fumble. If you caught the ball, hit the ground, and the ground can cause a fumble, boom, ball comes out. It's a fumble. It's a catch fumble. But because the ground can't cause a fumble, now they are making you possess the football through the fall when you hit the ground, because the ground can't cause a football, but it can cause an incompletion.
Which we know is physically impossible half the time.
Some of the rules are making the game harder than what it is. And that rule, it baffles me about what the ground can and cannot do.
Absolutely, and I think I think what you're saying there is people are overthinking it, and that's what makes everything more difficult, no matter what it is in life or anything. If the more you think about it, the more you try to overthink it, is when you get all of the issues. So yeah, I mean it's confusing at times, but yeah, I don't have the perfect answer for you, and that's why they're trying to figure it out. And I think the main thing is just to get everyone on the same page, so if someone does talk about it, they have the correct things to say.
Jordy Nelson, you know who's not on the same page? Mike McCarthy and Eddie Lacy. What's happening with the diet plan there? I mean, you may have to you got to get this guy out there running sprints. What's happening with Eddie Lacy?
I don't know. Obviously, Eddie's a great guy. He loves the game. He's one of the happiest people I've ever been around. But obviously, there might be some things going on there that I think for his football career and for his life, he needs to get figured out. And I think Mike obviously said some things yesterday that I think are almost out of character for Mike, but I think it's because he cares about Eddie and what Eddie can do for a career, what he can do in his life, and what he can do for this team. So we care about him. We want to help him as much as possible and just allow him to be the best athlete he can be, and that's part of it.
Hey, I want to thank you for your time joining us, especially after a loss. Do you want one more chance to give Dove a little bit of a plug here?
Absolutely. So if people want to go to dovemencare.com, they can check out the highlight reel, check out what true strength really is, and that's caring for your family, caring for the community, and giving back, and just trying to show a little bit more off the field of what us athletes are. Everyone sees the highlights on the field, but our true highlights in our lives are when we're with our family and in the community.
You did a beautiful job, and I saw Carson Palmer and Jordan Palmer did one as well, and it really looked great. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
That's Jordy Nelson here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.